पीछे अपना मोबाइल लेके आ जाना।
15 मिनट में आ जाऊँ, 45 तक स्टार्ट करना।
Good evening, children. In the previous class, we have started the chapter People as Resource. This is chapter number 2 of Economics. So, before initiating, I would just like to recapitulate the chapter what we have studied in the previous class. We have talked about the resources of a country. In that, it comes your land, natural resources, capital. In this capital comes the capital resources such as your buildings, plants, machines and equipments. Third point is human resources. In that comes size and quality of population. Other points what we have covered were how people become a resource. So today I am going to start with health sectors in India. My point is health sectors in India. Now let's talk about that. In this the main points are investment in people in the form of health and the important source of human development. Healthy mind and body are the most important requirements of a workforce. Now, over this point, I would go health sector in India. You see, children, investment in people in the form of health is another important source of human resource development. Healthy mind and body are the most important requirements of a workforce. An unhealthy person would either abstain from work or not contribute as expected for the work assigned. Thus, an unhealthy person would either abstain from work or not contribute as expected for the work assigned. So, thus, an unhealthy person is a liability. Remember this term? An unhealthy person is a liability while a healthy person is an asset. Hence, it becomes the duty of the government to invest in the health of people. Over the last few decades, if we talk about over the last few decades, we will see India has built a vast health infrastructure and has also developed the manpower required at primary, secondary and tertiary sectors in the government sector as well as in the private sector. If we talk about the health infrastructure in India, if we make the differences between the year 1951 and 2017, we will realize that over the years, India has built a vast healthy infrastructure and manpower at different levels. Since independence, there has been significant expansion in the physical provision of health services. The number of government hospitals has increased from 2,964 in 1951 to 23,582 in 2017. The same thing, the number of beds in the government hospitals, which was 1,17,000 in 1951, it has rose to 7,10,761 in the year 2017. Third point is the number of doctors increased from 56,000 to 9.2 lakh, and of nurses rose from 1.8 lakh to 28.7 lakh during the same period. The number of medical colleges rose from 30 in 1951 to 476 in 2017. Means if we see the changes in all the departments. Okay, the discussion which I am telling you about the number of hospitals, they are all the government hospitals. They are all the government hospitals. Whereas, if we talk about all these issues, if I talk about the health infrastructure, what does the health infrastructure means? The health infrastructure includes hospitals, doctors, nurses and other paramedical professionals, beds, equipments required in hospitals and a well-developed pharmaceutical industry. Now, I have told you about so many hospitals, but all these hospitals are the government hospitals. And today, at present scenario, if we make a distinction, if we make a difference that which hospital is better, if I talk about the government hospitals are very rare, means very less in number, and only few and only the minority of the government hospitals are good, and the other sector, the private sectors, are ruling over the nation. So recently, the government of India has launched Swachh Bharat or Clean India campaign. This aims at developing the sense of hygiene amongst the people and improving cleanliness and hygienic living conditions of the nation. Such steps are bound to improve overall health conditions, reduce diseases and affect longevity of the people of the nation. Now, let's talk about what are the steps which are being taken by the government to improve overall health conditions. So if we talk about this issue, 3 points are there: community health centers, primary health centers and sub-centers. So the 3 points are community health centers, primary health centers and the sub-centers. So firstly, let's talk about the community health centers. What are these? They cater to about 1 lakh of the population and operate at the district level. These community health centers are at the district level. They cover the population of nearly 1 lakh. They provide specialized services in some areas. These centers have about 30 beds, 30 beds they are having. Next is primary health centers. They operate at the block level and cater to about 20,000 to 30,000 people. They provide only general medical care and maternity facilities, besides family planning advice. The third point is sub-centers. They are basically open for family planning services and child care services. They serve about 5,000 persons. They serve about nearly 5,000 persons. Modern hospitals with advanced level of equipments and medicines are located only in big cities, whereas in the bit underdeveloped or remote areas we get the sub-centers. Now, a very important issue is there. Some of the children are asking, sir, which hospitals serve better, private or government? So let's move to this point. Role of private sector. Now, if I talk about role of private sector, in recent times, private sector has been playing a dominant role in medical education and training, medical technology and diagnostics, manufacture and sale of pharmaceuticals, hospitals constructed and the provision of medical services. Remember this point, more than 70% of the hospitals in India are run by the private sector. Remember this term, more than 70% of the hospitals in India are run by the private sector. Next point is, as you can see on the screen, role of private sector. I mentioned the important points. Now, after this, my other point is public health facilities. And do you know, you have to remember this point, more than 70% of the hospitals in India are run by the private sector. Now let's talk about children. Public health facilities. Now what is the meaning of the public health facilities? Public health means health care facilities provided by the government. Public health facilities are delivered under three-tier system: primary, secondary and tertiary. Three-tier system it is: primary, secondary and tertiary health care. Now, after this, let's move to primary health care. Now, what is this primary health care? Primary health care includes primary health centers. In short, we call it as PHCs. PHC stands for primary health centers in rural areas and family welfare centers. In short, we call it FWCs in urban areas. Remember the two terms, PHCs. PHC stands for primary health centers. They are found in rural areas, and the FWCs, that is family welfare systems, are found in urban areas. After this, the next point is secondary health care. The next point is secondary health care. Now, what is the secondary health care? Secondary health care includes district hospitals and CHCs. CHC stands for community health centers, which have better healthcare facilities such as surgery and diagnostics. They are mostly located in district headquarters and at block level. The third type is tertiary sector. Tertiary health care includes all those medical centers and hospitals which give advanced medical care in case of complicated health problems. It also includes many premier institutes which not only impart quality medical education and conduct research, but also provides specialized medical care. For example, AIIMS in New Delhi. AIIMS stands for your All India Institute of medical sciences. Now, after this, let's move to what kind of measures resulted in health improvement as indicated by the following. The first point is, so many positive points are there which have turned out as a measure resulted in health improvement. The first point is decline in birth and death rates. Birth rate has declined to 20.4. Death rate has come down from as high as 27.4 thousand in 1951 to 6.4 per thousand in 2016. In this manner, if we say, there is a very good improvisation in terms of decline in birth and death rates. The next point is reduction in infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate referring to death of the infants up to 1 year of age. एक जन्म से लेके 1 साल तक की अगर बच्चे की मृत्यु हो जाती है तो उसको हम काउंट करते हैं इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट में. Has significantly reduced from 146 per thousand in 1951 to 34 per thousand in 2016. See, in the year 1951 हर 1000 बच्चे में से 146 children used to die, and according to the census of year 2016 only at present time only 34 children per thousand die. And see the difference from 146 to 34, it has come down. Reduction in infant mortality rate implies the protection of children from infection, ensuring the nutrition of both the mother and the child and child care. So a good improvisation is there in terms of reduction in infant mortality rate. Third point is rise in expectancy of life. Rise in expectancy of life. Now what does it mean? Expectancy of life has risen from 50 years in year 1951 to 68.3 years in 2014. Means during the time of 1951 the average age was 50 years, but now according to the 2014 year result it has come to 68.3, means nearly 18 years difference is coming. Increase in longevity of life is an indicator of good quality of life. So this thing is also has a positive shape. Rise in expectancy of life has risen from 50 years to 68.3 years in 2014. Next point is control over deadly diseases. Now, what is the meaning here? Deadly diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, cholera, smallpox have been brought under control. The government has taken several steps. Several steps have been taken by the government to diffuse or to bring an end to all such kind of diseases which have created more deaths. The next point is control over diseases. That's we have talked about now. However, this effort means whatever steps have been taken by the government is not enough. In reality, doctors are not willing to work in rural and backward areas where they are required the most. It's a simple thing. Whosoever becomes a doctor, he never wants to go to a remote area. His main intention is to be in a city or in a metro. So that, and what's the purpose behind this? The simple purpose behind this is that as much, because there in the urban areas there are more chances of development, there is more scope of advancement as compared to your rural areas. Quacks still operate without fear of the law and exploit the illiterate and innocent people. I am using the word quacks, Quacks. What does it mean? This word simply means that in the remote areas professionals are not there. Means the people, those who are practicing as a doctor, they are not the actual doctors. They are not having the legal degrees, but they are practicing in the village areas. As the people in the remote areas are illiterate, so whatever the doctors prescribe them, or in other terms we can say झोला छाप डॉक्टर, जिनके पास अपनी कोई डिग्री नहीं है, वो सिर्फ जनता को मूर्ख बनाते हैं. That kind of things are being practiced in the remote areas. The general state of hygiene and sanitation is poor. Second point, the general state of hygiene and sanitation is poor. The service of maintaining sanitation and hygiene among people is lacking. Nowadays also you would have seen the people are moving here and there without any cause on the streets. You can see nowadays the government has imposed so many restrictions due to the COVID, but the people are not concerned to that. Means they are not giving enough time. They are not giving time for themselves. Means they are just roaming here and there without any cause. Now these points I have told you. Now let's come to the glossary. Now what does the word glossary means? In the glossary point we'll be talking about those particular terms, those particular words which you should be aware of, or which can be short questions. The first word is human capital. What is human capital? The skills, knowledge and experience possessed by an individual population. Again listen. The skills, knowledge and experience possessed by an individual population is known as human capital. My next word is literacy rate. What is the meaning? The word literacy rate refers to the proportions of literates to the country's total population above the age of 7 years. That is literacy rate. In Hindi we call this word as saksharta. Saksharta dar. Rate stands for dar. That is the literacy rate. Next glossary is of life expectancy. What is this life expectancy? It refers to the average number of years a newborn infant is expected to survive through life. It means, in common language, it means that what is the expectancy of that infant child, that for how many days he or she is going to survive. That is known as life expectancy. Either means in the terms of 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. That is known as life expectancy. The next word is infant mortality rate. In short, we call this word as IMR. IMR stands for infant mortality rate. What is this infant mortality rate? It is the number of deaths. It is the number of deaths per 1,000 live births of children under 1 year of age. जितने बच्चे मरते हैं 1 साल के अंदर, जन्म से लेके 1 साल तक के अंदर जितने बच्चों की मृत्यु होती है, प्रति हजार, 1000 बच्चों में से कितने जीते हैं, कितने मरते हैं, जितने मरते हैं उसको हम काउंट करते हैं एज इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट. Now the next word is birth rate. It refers to the number of babies born for every 1000 people during a particular period of time. That is known as birth rate. You should be aware of one thing, that there can be a difference between IMR, infant mortality rate, and the birth rate. So you should remember that IMR stands for infant mortality rate, which means the number of deaths per 1000 live births of children under 1 year of age. And on the other side, birth rate means the number of babies born for every 1000 people during a particular period of time. That is known as your birth rate. And you should be very clear in the difference between the birth rate and between the death rate. Now, the next word is death rate. Now, what is this death rate? It refers to the number of people. It refers to the number of people per 1000 who die during a particular period of time. Confusion एक चीज में नहीं होना चाहिए. एक चीज में हमारा डिफरेंस नहीं होना चाहिए इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट और डेथ रेट में. दोनों चीजों में मृत्यु की हम बात करें, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट डेथ्स, बट इन इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स पर 1000 लाइव बर्थ्स. जितने बच्चों का जन्म होता है एक साल के अंदर, जितनों की मृत्यु होती है, that comes in the list of IMR, infant mortality rate. And on the other side, the word which I have used is death rate. Now, what is this death rate? Death rate, it refers to the number of people per 1000 who die during a particular period of time. मतलब इसमें किसी की भी मृत्यु हो सकती है. उस इंसान की उम्र 20 वर्ष भी हो सकती है, 40 भी हो सकती है, 60 भी हो सकती है, 65 भी हो सकती है. Yes, nowadays there is a life expectancy for infants with diseases. Why I am saying? Because earlier what was the problem? That proper medical facilities were not prevailing. The doctors were not there, the hospitals were not there, medicines were not there. But with the passage of time, a lot of development have taken place. The credit goes to the hospital, the credit goes to the government. But on the other side, now the parents are literate. The parents are also educated. You take all the precautions. The parents take all the precautions which are essential for their kids. Earlier, such kind of system was not prevailing. And the other biggest problem earlier was sanitation and hygiene. But now a lot of importance, a lot of emphasis is being given on sanitation and hygiene. Earlier the people were lacking in this thing, and nowadays the people have totally developed in this particular field. So I hope so this topic would be clear. So in short, I am just recapitulating the chapter. People as resource refer to the production skills and abilities of country's working population. Population becomes human resource when we make investment in health, education, training, housing and sanitation. Third point, human resource is called human capital because money is spent on their education and health. Education is an important input for the growth of an individual, and it adds to the productive power of the country. Healthy person contributes in the development of the country by increasing efficiency and productivity. Economic activities are divided into three sectors. The first one is primary sector activities, secondary sector activities, and the third one is tertiary sector activities. Under market activities, goods and services are produced to sell them in the market. Activities which are performed to produce goods for self-consumption are called non-market activities. The quality of population is determined by the literacy rate, health of a person, and skills acquired by the people of the country. Nowadays we can see that the literacy rate is increasing. Literacy rate is increasing at a very rapid rate. Now children, one question. The one question is, in which state the highest literacy rate is there? Which state is having the highest literacy rate? Give your answer. I am waiting for a response. Let's see who gives the answer first. Yes, the answer is given. Abhishek Yadav has given the answer. Very good, Abhishek. Your answer is correct. And one child has asked me the question, so what is the life expectancy in India? I would like to convey that according to the census of 2014, the answer is 68.3 years. That's the average one. So I hope so that these topics are clear. Now, let's move to the other round, the most important round, and that's your multiple choice question. And I would like, children, that you all should give me the answer without any delay. Whether the answer can be right or wrong, don't worry about that. You have to give the answer. Don't worry about the negative or positive aspects. So the first question, the easiest one. Life expectancy at birth in India is option A 68.3 years, option B 66 years, option C 52 years, and option D 72 years. You all should give me the answer, all the children. Sanya, Abhishek, Raj, Devansh, Priyansh, Covid, all of you should give me the answer. Only two children have given the answer, that is Vaibhav and Abhishek Yadav. Where are the others? Shoot your answers fast. Yes, Priyansh, correct. Others? Yes, correct. All the four candidates have given the right answer. And the exact answer for this is option A, that is 68.3 years. Now, I tell you something about this, that earlier the rate was totally different. Expectancy of life has risen from 50 years in 1951 to 68.3 years in 2014. Increase in longevity of life is an indication, or it is an indicator of good quality of life. So simply this answer means that nowadays we are having a good quality of life. We are concerned with our life. Special precautions have been taken in the field of sanitation and hygiene. That's why the age is increasing. Now let's move to the next question. A bit confusing one. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan was started in 2001, 2009, 1995 and 2015. So what's the answer for this question? Tell me the answer of this question. Okay. Priyansh had started the answer. Priyansh is the first one to give the answer. Good. Vaibhav also. Good, Vaibhav. Other children? Total 5, 6 are there. You all should give me the answer. COVID Tyagi, where are you? I need your answers. COVID, Abhishek. Sanya. Just give the answers fast, children, so that we can move to the next question. Okay. The correct answer for this question is option A, and the answer is 2001. According to 2001, the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan was being initiated by the government. The main purpose behind starting this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan was that the children in the village area could also be interested, or they can also attain education. And its main aim is to provide elementary education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. This point is clear. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, identify the primary sector activities from the following. The first one is fishing, construction, manufacturing and health. So the options are in front of you: fishing, construction, manufacturing and health. So what's the answer for this? Give your answer. Abhishek, Vaibhav, Priyansh, COVID. The answer for this question. So no one is able to respond. Only Abhishek Yadav has given the response. Good, Abhishek. Other candidates, Priyansh, Vaibhav, give your answer. Priyansh has given C option. Okay. Now let's see the answer. And the answer for this question is option A. And the option A is fishing. The correct answer for this question is fishing. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, identify secondary sector activity from the following: farming, mining, manufacturing and option D, banking. You can see the options. Option A, farming. Option B, mining, option C, manufacturing, and option D, banking. So what's the answer for this question? Okay. So the answer for this question is manufacturing. Now, let me tell you certain points. Now, I would like to tell you something about the secondary sector activity. Activities which convert primary goods into some manufactured goods are called secondary sector activities. These include manufacturing and construction activities. Very good. Abhishek, Priyansh, Vaibhav, Raj, your answer is correct. Now, let's move to the other question. The other question is identify tertiary sector activity from the following: trade, transport, education, and option D, all of these. Now, what would be the answer? Send your answers fast. Yes, Priyansh, good. Where are the other intelligent ones? Raj Chauhan, Vaibhav, Sanya. Give the answer fast, children. Okay. So the answer for this question is option D, all of these. And which points it is covering? It means it is covering all the points. Now, the next question. Which of the following is an non-economic activity? Which of the following is a non-economic activity? Option A, growing vegetables in kitchen garden. Option B, farming. Option C, teaching his own son or daughter. And option D, both A and C. Now what should be the answer? The question is, which of the following is a non-economic activity? Start sending your answers fast. Yes, one child has given the answer. Okay, yes, correct. Good. Sanya, Priyansh, Vaibhav, Abhishek. Good. The correct answer is both. Yes, COVID. Very good. The correct answer is D option. That is both A and C. In that A comes growing vegetables in kitchen garden, means whatever kind of vegetables, plants, flowers, whatever you grow, you grow it for your own purpose. You don't grow it for the selling out purpose. And option D, parents teach their own son or daughter. So that is also a non-economic activity. Your intention behind teaching or Growing vegetable is not to earn money, but to it's your hobby or it's your duty. That is the point. Now children, I would like to just recapitulate 2 points in the field of educational sector in India. In the field of elementary education, emphasis has been given on universities, or you can say retention and quality, with a special attention on girls' education. The scheme of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan was launched in 2001 with the aim to provide elementary education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Just to make that more and more children should come to the school. In your break time, you would have seen that there is a fight for the lunch. So, midday meal scheme has also been launched in 1995 to increase enrollment. Enrollment means that more and more children should get their name in the schools. They should get themselves registered in the schools. Attendance, retention, and also to improve nutritional status of children. After that, you people would have heard about Navodaya Vidyalaya schools. Navodaya Vidyalaya schools. They have been set up in each district of the country. These Vidyalayas envisaged the development of talented, bright, and gifted children, predominantly from rural areas, especially on the outskirts. Outskirts means on the boundaries of the cities, or you can say that if I talk about the area of Sarojini Nagar, in that area we are having the Navodaya Vidyalaya. The other high priority has been ascended to vocationalization of education at the secondary stage to equip students with occupation related knowledge and skills. In this method, I would like to tell you about ITI. Remember the word I am saying, ITI, Industrial Training Institute. And the other word is IIT, that is Indian Institute of Technology. That is a different one. That is after passing your class 12th. But this ITI is meant especially for getting your occupation related knowledge and skills. For example, if you are if you see a mechanic, bike mechanic, or the people those are working in big workshops like Maruti, Hyundai, or any, those people are the professionals, means they have taken the training of ITI, Industrial Training Institute, means they are professional in the automobile industry. So children, I hope so that the topic would be clear, and in the next class I'll be starting from unemployment. So for today, this much only. I hope so that you would have enjoyed the class.